Hello everyone, this is Mr. Informal bringing you another thoughts, analysis, and rant. So, the Xperia 5 this past week, Sony Xperia 5 Mark 5 has been announced. The successor to the Sony Xperia 5 Mark 4, one of my, favorite phones. Um, Last year, and so here we have the Xperia 5 Mark 5 or V. So I'm gonna give you my thoughts right now. Buy this phone only on sale. If you see this phone on sale, then yeah, you can get it. But for $1,000 or wherever you are in the world, it could be more. It is not worth the price. Not only that, if you have a Sony Xperia 5 Mark IV, it's not worth the upgrade. And so, as I'm going to state it again, the Sony Xperia 5 Mark V is only worth it if you purchase this on sale. But you know what? Let's get to the specs. So 6.1 inch screen, 1080 by 2520 pixels. That's 449 pixels per inch, 8 gigs of RAM. And it comes with the Snapdragon 8 Gen 2, such as many phones in the world. Gorilla Victus 2 on the front. It has a glass back and an aluminum frame. It will either become with nano SIM, eSIM, dual physical SIM, so on and so on. It will have a 128 gigs with 8 gigs of RAM base model. It should be, I'll get to that on the rant. And then another option was 256 with 8 gigs of RAM. 2 cameras in the back now compared to the 3 cameras from the Mark IV. So, dual cameras on the back, 48 megapixels f1.9. With dual pixel face detection autofocus and OIS. Not only that, has a 2 times zoom lossless from what Sony is saying, and then 12 megapixels f2.2 60mm ultra wide autofocus with no OIS. Not only that, the videos are 4K 24 25 30 60 120 frames per second, and has a 5-axis gyro EIS and OIS, and also it has camera software wise, it has a pro mode on this camera. And then on the front, 12 megapixels f2.0 with no autofocus. It can shoot 4K 30 frames per second, 1080 and 3060 with 5-axis gyro EIS. Not only that, the sensor in the back is actually quite new from the preview that I have been seeing. It's actually much improved compared to the last year's model, and even it boasts the Sony Xperia 1 Mark 4. So that could be a potential greatness in terms of the photo quality with the Xperia 5 Mark 5. And so it comes with stereo speaker, and of course it's gonna keep the 3.5 millimeter jack. That is a huge bonus. I'm not gonna take that for granted. And then it has Wi-Fi, Bluetooth 5.3 with aptX HD for those who love using Sony AI generated amps when it comes to music. GPS, NFC, comes with USB-C Type C, 3.2 side mounted fingerprint scanner, 5,000 milliamps of battery. It can charge 30 watts wired. Not only that, it can charge via wireless, and it can charge up to 50% in 30 minutes. And then it will come only in black, blue, and platinum silver. How boring. And lastly, again, the price is $1,000. So those are the specs. Let's get into the analysis. Honestly, I kind of like this phone, but not for that price. And so it looks like Sony's smartphone line is going to be stagnant. Nothing's gonna move the needle. No earth shattering, no groundbreaking. They're not gonna attract customers. Most likely, they're gonna attract the same customers who've been buying Sony phones, and that's quite sad. Not only that, there's not a lot of advertisement on this phone. There were more advertisement on the Xperia 1 Mark 5 compared to this phone, which is a shame because I actually think this phone is quite capable. And it's too bad that I guess Sony see it as a threat, taking away margins and sales from the Sony Xperia 1 Mark 5, which is a dumb way of thinking. I think that anytime you have customers buying Sony phones, it's actually a win-win situation for Sony. I don't understand what they're trying to do here. Not only that, is they're not gonna gain any market share from this. They're just gonna be the same old, which is again a shame. And so, just to conclude the analysis, right now when it comes to the smartphone lines for Sony, they are stagnant, they are stuck. Nothing's moving the chain, nothing's moving the needle, whatever you want to call it. And so that is absolutely too bad. Too bad. And so let's get on to my rant. The colors are boring. Really? Black, blue, platinum, silver. Is that really the best colors you can do? Number 2, price. $1,000 when I think this should be $700 to $800. And don't get me wrong, I love the 3.5mm jack. I love the micro SD expansion. I mean, looks like the 2 times zoom is not losing quality when you use it, but whatever. But for the price, it should have a higher storage, which is the base model only has 128 gigs, even though it has a micro SD, but it's too bad that it only has 128 gigs. I think that all phones should have 256 by now. The removal of the telephoto camera lens is absolutely a deal breaker for many. I would rather have a physical telephoto camera than just 2 cameras with software in it. And I don't care what Sony's saying, because I actually think their phones are still not up to par with their alpha camera line. What did they ask the division from the alpha division, asking what they think of the photos? Is that what happened? This has a night view mode, but it only turns on randomly, so you can't really control it, which is stupid. Like, why even put it when it's just gonna come on random? So most likely it's gonna be updated in the firmware. And then last but not least, and this is what I just don't understand about this phone. So there's nothing special about it. That's the thing. It's not unique. Let me guess. You're gonna tell me that it's small. Well, the Samsung Galaxy S23 is also small. That's what I have right now. I mean, are you gonna tell me it has a micro SD or it has 3.5mm jack? Yes, I agree, but this phone was supposed to be powerful at a compact size, but it's not that anymore. I think that Sony neutered it, and it's a shame. For $1,000, you're telling me that I'm gonna get this phone compared to the Samsung Galaxy S23, when the S23 has more third-party support when it comes to cases, screen protectors, accessories, and even colors. I mean, not only that, S23 is much cheaper. It's definitely not $1,000, that's for sure. And so, to conclude this thoughts, analysis, and rant, it's too bad that Sony Xperia 5 Mark 5 is at a stagnant stage of its, I guess, life. I mean, Sony just released this so they can release it. Look, maybe I'll buy it when it goes down in price because I actually think this is a good phone if you're looking for a phone in a smaller size. I mean, it's probably going to compete with the Zenfone 10. And you know what? I should prefer this over the Zenfone 10. But don't get me wrong, when it comes to Android, people are going to look at the S23. And so people are going to ask what's so special about this phone. Well, that's something that a lot of consumers are going to ask themselves when it comes to shopping compact size phone. So that is basically it for the Sony Xperia 5 Mark 5 thoughts, analysis, and rant. And so I will see you in the next thoughts, analysis, and rant. Bye bye.